Yeah, good evening, everyone. The 10th edition of the Bangalore International Short Film Festival is very happy to have with us actor, singer, vocal artist, and multiple award winner, Nithya Menen. Thank you, Nithya, for joining us today and taking time.
Thank you so much, Anand. It was my pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you. Means it's great that being a fellow Bangalorean, it feels so nice talking to you. So, ತುಂಬಾ ಸಂತೋಷ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ನೀವು ನಮ್ಮ ಜೊತೆ ಬಂದಿರೋದು.
Thank
And
you.
so just wanted to also talk that we are a Bangalore festival. We have been we are this is our 10th year, and we were also recognized by the Oscar Academy last year as
Mhm.
which means that the winning films of this festival is eligible to directly go into the consideration of the live action shorts. So we are the only festival in India to have it. So it's great that we are having you for a conversation today. And another news which I wanted to share with you and the audience today is Ruben Östlund, a Swedish film director who won the Palme d'Or at Cannes in 2007, will be opening the festival this year. So it's a big honor for us also. So
Fantastic.
yeah, thank you.
That's
So
wonderful.
yeah, thank you. So, but today the conversation is with you, so I'm very happy to do this. It's very natural, I think, in Bangalore that we all kind of understand many languages. We kind of
Yeah.
pick it up, and you're doing it so easily, and you've acted across languages. But my question is, what is the language do you think in, and how do you translate it to other languages? And also, for an actor, if he or she is not a native speaker, what is the barrier? So, if you can give us some thoughts on that.
I think in English, actually. Uh, but because I'm familiar with a lot of languages, I don't necessarily always translate, but sometimes I do. Sometimes, if certain uh, dialogues or lines are not exactly something I'm familiar with, I've not heard this too much, or something like that, then I do translate it in English in my head, and I, think about how would I say this in English, because then that will sound more natural when I do that. Um if you can speak the language, your the acting becomes a lot easier, in the sense, at least you don't have to remember the words and you don't have to remember the lines, so
Right.
that makes it so much more natural, so you can be a little more uh, casual and a little more natural. Otherwise, there's a little bit of stress involved when you have to sort of learn the lines and sort of remember the lines and then act and everything. So in that sense, it's quite good to know the languages that you're acting in.
Okay. And for example, when you I think started in acting in Telugu, probably I think that was one of the languages
Yeah.
which you started learning. How did
Yeah.
you break the barrier? Means you actually I read somewhere that you also went on to do dubbing for another artist also in Telugu. It was amazing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Um, well, initially, it's something that, I mean, I didn't think of it much, but initially, it was actually difficult because I didn't know even a word of Telugu. So it was literally like not even a word. I could not understand anything when I was shooting Alamadlendi. Uh,
mm,
but I decided that, I decided to learn it. So I made an effort to actually make sure that I learn the language more, because I know what a challenge it was to do something and not know the language and sort of learn that, and then, so I made an effort. I started speaking to all my staff. I insisted that they talk to me in Telugu, uh, which they didn't, because I couldn't speak in Telugu really. So they were automatically talking to me in other languages. I said, I don't speak anything. You speak to me only in Telugu. So I insisted on, like, everyone talking to me in Telugu, because that conversation is very important. And if I come out of work, then I'll never converse in Telugu again. So I made sure that whenever I got the opportunity, I was always conversing in that language and stuff. So I made that effort. Of course, dubbing for your films makes you a little more at ease with the languages, because you're doing it as a practice, when you're dubbing. So that way I did get a lot more fluent. I pick up languages quickly, so that makes it a bit quicker, the process for me.
Interesting. But today, I think the technology is moving towards sync sound. I think, and it might be a challenge for people who might not know the language. How do
Yes.
you think? Uh, you think that actors should maybe start learning the language now, that because sync sound will probably take over in the coming years?
I haven't thought of it, but I guess if you want to do something in a language that you can't speak,
Hmm.
then you will automatically learn it if that's you're really interested in that. Or you can stick to the languages that you know. But
Right.
if you do want to do languages that, like with me, it was not a, like it was not a decision that I took or something. It just happened,
Right.
so which is why I'm doing it. But if people want to do in multiple languages, then yeah, I guess learning it, whether it's sing sound or not, I think learning it is a good idea.
Right. Now, coming to see when you're acting with different languages, you also come across filmmakers who are giving you what to do and technicians who are working with you. What do you think for an aspiring filmmaker or an aspiring actor? What do you think they should get to know from the director? What should they expect? If you, for example, when you started out, what was your expectation from a filmmaker when a scene was described? And today, if an actor wants to start off, what should they expect from the filmmaker? On the other way around, also, because we have a lot of filmmakers, technicians, actors looking at this today. What is the conversation they should have between an actor and a filmmaker?
The thing is, I think that every actor, every filmmaker, everybody is different. There's no one set formula for an actor. So it doesn't mean, oh, this person is an actor, so this is the process, because every actor is different. For example, some people may need you to actually tell them exactly what you want. Uh, so it's very individual, it's very personal to each person. So being a filmmaker, being a director is a lot of skills involved together. It's not just about being able to call action and cut, or being able to decide this is a good shot or this is a good frame, but it involves a lot of other talents, which includes interpersonal skills. So knowing, being perceptive, being able to understand what your actor is like and what makes them comfortable is very important. So you need to be observant, you need to be perceptive. You know, you can't, it's not always like a director just says and everyone does it. It's kind of a team thing. So for me, for example, when I read a script or when I get a narration, that particular thing is pretty much pasted in my head and I don't forget it. So a lot of times the director is surprised by how I remember certain dialogues that he told me during narration, which he would have changed. And I'll say, "You changed that dialogue or what?" And they say, "Which dialogue?" "Oh, yeah, I said that during the narration." "You remember that?" But I remember it. So when I initially hear it itself, for me, it's a very instantaneous process. So I already know that character. I just grasp it like that. I just know how I'm going to play it. Not always. There are exceptions when you're not really sure, but most of the time. So for me, I don't really need someone to come and tell me, do this or act like this. Uh, but you subtle directions in saying, okay, this little thing, like I want you to give me that as well. So you should know. I think it's very important for filmmakers to be able to assess the person in front of them and be able to give what that actor needs and coordinate the way that actor needs. And same with actors as well. You'll find all kinds of directors. You'll find directors who completely, who are like this, who'll get you. So they'll know how to, they'll decide not to tell you much or something like that. But that's okay. There are directors I have heard who actually need to act and show you. Thankfully, I've not. personally met any of them, but I've heard that a lot of directors need to act and show you, how they do or whatever. So there are everyone's process is different. Acting or filmmaking is not a one dimensional skill.
Right.
It involves a lot of other kind of intelligence.
Okay. But was there any situation, without taking names, of course, if where you had challenges in understanding on a set, on a scene, and you had to
No.
come up with?
No, that has never happened because the way I choose is like that. That initial decision to do this particular film is because I can see that the person in front of me and I will be able to have a rapport. Then
Right.
there won't be a clash because the person and me are on the same page when it comes to this film or how we want to say this story. So I
Right.
make sure that that happens. Otherwise, it never works out. Even performance wise you'll never be able to give your full. You
True.
have to be a match with the person you're working with, especially the director. So I make sure that that's the case. Like I said, there are different methods. Different directors are completely different people, but I get along with all of them. I can
Right.
understand all of them and I get along with all of them quite well. So there hasn't been a situation where it's been difficult with a director. Most of the time I have very, very good relationships with the director.
Great. Great. Actually, you actually brought up my next question, because in the roles you play, Nitya has become Tara, Abha, Shahana, and we have heard terms like method acting, classical acting, Chekhov's method. What is Nithya's method of acting, and where does she leave Nithya behind and becomes the character on screen?
Um, I think it's spontaneity, my method, because there's a very interesting story about this because my first film that I did, Akashagopuram,
Hmm.
which was with Mohanlal, it was a Malayalam film I did.
Yeah.
It was based on Henrik Ibsen's Master Builder.
Correct.
So they came and they met me, and it was a sudden decision. They had to kind of start shooting and everything. They told me that they were shooting in London, which is why I decided to do it because I had no real interest in being an actor. So I decided to go because I thought
Yeah.
anyway I have, ನನಗೆ 2 months ಮನೇಲಿ ಕೂತ್ಕೊಂಡಿರ್ಬೇಕು. So instead of that, I'd rather go to the London ನೋಡೋಣ ಅಲ್ವಾ. So first time I'm going abroad, out of the country.
Right.
So
Yeah.
ಅದಕ್ಕೆ I said okay, and I went. So you
Okay.
see, that's how much like it didn't matter to me so much. Not
Hmm.
that I thought I'm going to be an actress, I have to prove myself, nothing like that. I just went
Yeah.
to see a place. I thought, I'll do this, I'll come back, you know.
Hmm.
So I remember that film, and I don't remember acting in that film. The director used to come and talk to me. He used to say, because Ibsen's plays are deep, they are philosophical, and they have a lot of.
Yeah.
So the director kind of just realized that I was not, for a 16-year-old girl, I was not really immature. I was quite mature. And he could
Hmm.
talk to me about certain things. So he would just discuss philosophical things or something like that. And he would just go.
Hmm.
That was what his method was. He
Okay.
never told me what to do in a scene. And I used to talk to him. I thought he was having a conversation with me. I thought we were
Right.
good friends. We were having a conversation. And
Hmm.
I went to the shot and I just did it.
Okay.
I remember later when people were talking and they said, new girl, and they said she's quite good. I remember going back and trying to think, what are they saying is good? I don't understand because I
Correct.
didn't do anything. So
Right.
then I realized that it's not it's not a conscious thing what I did acting. Acting
Yeah.
just flowed from a very subconscious place. So it is
Absolutely.
so like, that brings me to the thing that it is literally zero method. There is no method there. It is just something I was meant to do, so it's flowing. And so it's a very spontaneous thing. And what I do is I'm Nitya till I go to the till action comes, or maybe a little bit before action. And then I do the shot, and then they say cut, and I'm done. I'm back to Nitya. There's literally
Okay.
nothing I carry over at all.
But do you take references from what you observe? For example, in Kanchana 2, you played a physically challenged person, and in Psycho also you were on a wheelchair. And so, when you're looking at something which you are not, do you
Yeah.
take a reference from what you have observed and what you've met the person probably, and how do
So
you feel that?
so until now, I've not done that. I don't know if we have done those kind of films where I need to really do that much research or that much observation or whatever.
Hmm.
Always for me, taking from myself is the most natural thing, because that's where I think it's coming from. It's coming from my emotional uh, perceptions and intelligence. So it's coming from there. I don't think I'm the kind of person who'll be able to take from someone else or something like that, or imitate what I see somewhere else. It's my what I know or what I am. So for Psycho, I did meet the girl after whom this character was written. So Mishkin
Okay.
had met this girl, and that he thought that was really interesting. So he wrote a character kind of about a
Hmm.
quadriplegic girl. That girl, I did go. He said, just go and meet her. Just stay, spend time with her for a day. So I did
Hmm.
spend time with her for a day, but honestly, it was more, like I just had a good time with someone for a day. Like we had a spiritual conversation, and it
Hmm.
was that. It was not so much that I took anything from her. I even forgot to observe. Uh, I wanted to later. I thought I didn't even observe how she moves or how she does something. I completely forgot. I got carried away by the person in front of me, and I just, had a nice day with her, and I came back. So I don't know. I don't think it's easy for me to take from somewhere external.
Very, very interesting because now that you are going to play one of the big icons of India, Jayalalitha, you're doing a biopic. So much of content and data is available. The director who is doing it has met her personally, interacted with her. Now there are references going to
Yeah.
come out, and how will you deal with that now?
Yeah, that is a completely different thing. Because
Yeah,
when you're doing a biopic, then it's not you at all. So that is a
mm,
completely different ballgame. It
right,
hasn't started yet, so I won't be able to still tell you the process of it.
okay,
Uh, but but that'll be a different thing. I will certainly be doing a lot of research. I will make sure that it is as authentic as possible, and I'll make sure that I uh, am not. It's imperative that you don't see Nithya anywhere there. You have to see uh, Jayalalitha.
exactly. So
Yeah.
basically, some of the mannerisms or something. So when you're saying something comes from a subconscious mind, uh, some things have to be very clear because we have all seen the person. So
Yes,
will
that's
you be
right.
training?
So
Is there going to be a
no, yeah,
yeah,
so
go on.
no, the process for doing a biopic, like I said, will be completely different. It will not
Right,
be like what I'm saying. I did till now, which is I just go on the set and it just happens. It can't be like that. When you're doing
right,
a biopic, you have to do work behind it. I will be watching films. I will be watching, what the person looked like live, what the person looked like while talking, how she spoke, what her
mm,
eyes looked like, what her mouth looked like. I will be
mm.
observing everything and hopefully trying to recreate it as best as possible.
We are all looking forward for that. So I think it'll be great. And actually, so what about your other films? How much do you have rehearsals when you're doing other characters, and when interaction with your co-star? But also, my other question, which linked to the previous one, was when your co-stars or co-actors are doing some method acting or coming from a film school which they're prepared. How is your reaction to that?
Um, those are the things that you will learn once you get into the film field, because
Okay.
film can never be done by yourself, even if you're the director.
True.
It's never you, it's not just you. So it is involving 100 people, and or everyone has to come together. So you
Right.
will start becoming adaptive, you will start becoming flexible, you will start, being you won't you can't survive if you're too rigid. So I personally love doing without rehearsals, for example.
Okay.
I love going straight and just seeing what happens, because that's my best, which comes out of spontaneity. So I really like that. But
Okay.
if there is an actor opposite to you who really wants rehearsals, then you should be okay with that. And that is also part of the skill of being an actor, of
Okay.
knowing how to be okay with even that, because you can't say no, no, I want it only my way.
Mm.
uh, so you do have a conversation, shall we just go, and they say no, 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 I want a rehearsal. Okay, fine,
Okay.
let's do it. So that kind of a thing, you need to do that. So
Okay.
a lot of times I love it when, if filmmakers, if it's just my shot or something, if a
Mm.
director says, you want a rehearsal, and I say let's go for take, no, and they'll say, yeah, are you okay with that? And say, yeah, 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 we'll go. They'll be like, okay, all right. So it's just me, so I can do it. Or if a
Yeah.
co-actor also says, no, no, let's just go, I'll be like, awesome, let's do it. So each day is different. Some days are like that, some days are like this, and
Okay.
but that's why, the job itself has taught me more about life and about myself than about
Mm.
acting, because it is a kind of work which really hones you as a person, spiritually and in every way, because you are faced with so many things.
Very nice. Actually, you said it in an article. An actor should be fluid, vulnerable, willing to fail, and look like a fool. Which was very, very interesting to read. I just wanted to check on how much does it extract from you, and how do you strike a balance?
um so vulnerability is, essential when you're acting. If you ever start feeling like, if you put an image on yourself, I am so and so, then there ends your performance. You will not be able to act anymore. Which is why, this star cultures and stuff like that, I feel is an impediment to performing. Because even good performers stop performing, because it is because they've put an image. Others have
Right.
put an image on them, and they have put an image on themselves. So now they have to live up to that image.
Correct.
And uh, that doesn't work. I realized that through personal experience, because I was wondering why, when I started off, I always felt my acting was much better when I started off. I
Mm.
still feel that,
Okay.
because I was completely not conscious. Nowadays, because I've been doing it so long, I've started
Yeah.
becoming conscious, and I don't like it. I want to
Okay.
go back to that person who was completely not conscious.
Okay.
Uh, so that was happening because this person is unknown. Nobody knows who I am. Nobody has any expectation from me. I don't need to prove anything to any. So I'm just being myself. So that is beautiful. So
Right.
that, when I said, you have to be okay to look like a fool. You should be okay to make a mistake, or to, should not be so tight and rigid about your, oh, I'm so and so, I have to be, you know one of the reasons why, like, I realized comedy is something you do only when you are willing to look like an idiot.
Yes. Yeah.
That's when you can do comedy. Otherwise, if you want to be beautiful and pretty and, demure,
Right.
then, it's very difficult. So I used to struggle a little bit with comedy, and then I was introspecting on why that was happening. And I was like,
Mm.
oh, that's because I don't want to appear like, you know stupid. I want to
Mm.
appear nice, pretty,
Okay.
and all of that. So that's very important for an actor somewhere, that you should not have any image. Even if there is, you should make a conscious effort to break it down, and
Right.
do that. I forgot your second question. You asked me something following up.
No.
I
How do you strike a balance as to with this? For example, when you said that it takes out so much from you, because as you were mentioning that you have to be so conscious and stuff like that.
Yeah. So acting is for me a very, very draining job because I pretty much, I don't act. I internalize everything a lot. So
Yeah.
every emotion is very internalized. So my body is going through that kind of all that
Mm.
suffering and all that trauma. So I feel very exhausted by the end of the day and everything. So for me, it is very, very important that I completely cut off. That's why I said the minute it's cut or the minute it's pack up, then it's cut off to my world. And my world
Okay.
is very quiet and it's very, it needs nothing. I don't need anything there. I don't
Yeah.
need, films. I don't need money, I don't need fame, I don't need anything there. So there I'm very in fact I'm most comfortable in that place. So I'm very happy to go back there. So what I do is the minute it's pack up, I go back to my room, shut the door, and then you will not see me again, because
Okay.
I'll take time for myself. I'll, like, just be, I'll just sit, I'll just, laze around, I'll do nothing much. I really try and sleep as best as possible, all of that.
Yeah.
So, and once a shoot schedule is over, for example, then pretty much like quarantine is not new to me. I have been quarantining
I read
since,
about
like,
that actually.
yeah, yeah. I
You've
do
been
this all
quarantined for
the
yourself
time.
for 2 years.
Yes, I've done that quite a bit. So even in between shoots, if I have a month off, it's literally like now people will understand what it is, but it's quarantine exactly. And I don't feel the need to go out. So people are, what do? You don't do anything. That is for me, that is recuperation, because my body needs that much rest to recuperate from that kind of trauma that I put myself through when I'm acting, because I
Right.
internalize everything so much.
Very interesting. See, it comes to that same thing. When we go to writers and somebody asks, "How do I write better?" They say, "Read more." And if you go to a filmmaker and ask, "How can I make better films?" They'll say, "Watch more." So when somebody comes to Nithya and says, "How can I act better?" What would she say?
Uh, Grow more as a human being, because acting comes from experience, acting comes from maturity, acting comes from intelligence. It's not something that you can just learn and you can just do. You
Hmm.
can maybe do that, but then there's a depth that you lack. There's a depth in your eyes which will come only from experience. And so grow as a human being. uh, I always say this when they say actors, oh, it's a comeback. I hate that word comeback, because
Right.
an actor needs to act. If they feel like, what, I'm stagnating here, they need to stop and
Hmm.
they need to introspect. They need to do something, whatever it takes, travel or whatever it takes, or go within themselves, or whatever it is that they need to do. They need to do that. They need to grow as a human being, because your personality needs to keep expanding. And if your
Hmm.
personality stops stagnating, then the person will stagnate as an actor. So I would say equal importance must be given to work and to you as a person. Otherwise it kind of goes together.
Very, very, very interesting. So, to grow, as you said, um, one is, of course, you take care of yourself. But as an art person, do you also read more, watch more? How do you grow yourself in that form, in the field you are in?
Again, growing means I don't mean it in an intellectual way that you
Okay.
read and you grow. It could be through some book. It can be. There's a possibility, but it's not an intellectual. I'm not asking your mind to become. You have to grow your personality. So, who are you as a person? Discovering yourself more, discovering, so going deep within your personality. That's an introspective thing. It's not related to the intellect.
Okay. No,
So I am, you know, I'm that way. I spend a lot of time. introspecting. I spend a lot of time in trying to live a good life, and I'm very, very clear on what is important to me. Uh, being in a good state, being in a peaceful state is very important to me. So I chase that a lot. I chase happiness a lot. So those kind of things make me, like go deeper into discovering the true who I am, and that always helps a lot.
No, very, very beautifully said. I think something which everybody misses in a way. We all try to jump into something which difficult and always materialistic. But I think if you have peace inside, I think the growth is much more better and nice. I'll try to look at some of the questions which people are posting. Of course, they're posting a lot of stuff about you know. Uh, I think you can also see it, but I'll try to
Oh,
pick some questions which
where
can you see
where can I see it?
on your okay you're on a phone, right? Sorry,
Yeah.
yeah, so it's supposed to come on somewhere on a this one. It's very easy to look at. Okay, let me
Okay.
check on some questions of lot of people sending their love, lot of people talking about when are you doing your next Kannada film. um, a lot of compliments on your latest web series. Uh, and
Thank
somebody's
you.
asking, okay, actually, I read about it that I heard that you're actually writing a Bengali movie with your friend and you plan to do it soon. So I think there was a question on that if you would like to comment.
These are all things that we have as ideas, and it was a close friend of mine who's a cinematographer, and
Okay,
he had an idea, and he was telling me that I should co-write it with him and everything.
okay,
So yeah, there are plans, and but you know, nothing concrete. You can't really say that a film is going to happen anytime soon, because there's so much acting assignments still that need
okay.
to be finished. So once you start writing, it's a completely different space. You need a bit more time to write, and
Yeah, because I think you started to you were a person who wanted to be on the behind the camera. I think that
yeah.
was the idea when you went into journalism to you did your graduation there when you wanted to do cinematography. So
Yeah.
when you moved, I mean, of course, because I read a little bit about you, your friend said that you should get into acting first and try do that first. But what was your thought when you were doing, when you were thinking, did you wanted to become a documentary filmmaker? Is that was the thought?
I wanted to become a wildlife filmmaker.
Okay,
So I thought, what makes me the happiest? So then I thought animals make me the happiest.
okay,
And then I thought, what can I do around animals? So I remember watching National Geography when I was young, and I remember seeing some animals and how they were captured. And I remember thinking, this is what I want to do in my life. And so making wildlife films was what I wanted to do. I just
okay,
honestly, I didn't really care so much about that. I just wanted to be in a forest. I wanted to be around animals. I wanted to be around a very natural environment. And I thought I'll be very happy I like nature. I like trees and mud and those kind of things. So I thought that's what so which is why cinematography was just that idea, like, okay, what do I do to just qualify myself to be able to do that? So let me learn cinematography, because that's a technical thing, and
right.
I can do, you know I can do direction or whatever I want once I learn something technical, is what I had in mind.
Did you get to watch Wild Karnataka?
Yes,
Well,
I did saw. Yeah, I saw a trailer of it, and it looked
yeah,
fantastic. And
it's
I've been
brilliant.
wanting to watch it.
It's on
Yeah.
Netflix. I think you should definitely catch it.
Oh,
It
okay.
it's
I'll surely watch it. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, it's brilliant. And Of course, it's Karnataka. It's, I mean, I could not believe we have so much of animals and such beauty
Yeah.
in our own state.
Actually,
And
I drive a lot, from
okay,
Bangalore to a lot of places. And one of my
okay,
favorite places is Karnataka. I just recently I was telling Amma, like the minute it's Karnataka, no, like it's beautiful. The roads are beautiful. And, like you cross the border and you come into Karnataka, somehow all the roads are nice. The places are beautiful and gorgeous. The weather is wonderful.
yeah.
It's,
I think we also, the people somehow make a change for some reason.
yes.
I sorry to other guys, but
No,
we
that's
are,
very true. It's
yeah.
true. They're nice people.
ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಕಾಲರ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಎತ್ಕೊಂಡ್ಬಿಡ್ತೀವಿ ಒಂದೊಂದ್ಸತಿ ನಾವು ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ಅಂತ.
ಹೌದು.
Okay, Namish has a question. How difficult was it for the shoot the last episode when fear, excitement, joy, all three emotions were combined together when the mom saw Sia?
It's not difficult. I don't find acting itself difficult. Um, a lot of times, what I do has multiple emotions mixed together. In fact, that is one of the beauty of I think certain scenes. I love it when there are several layers and it's not one dimensional. It's not just like, oh, just I am so sad or I am so scared. But if they give me so many layers, to work with, I absolutely love it. I think that makes me really excited. So this kind of layered and sort of emotions where it's not just this but also that, that's what I liked about Breathe, because internally she always had fear, she always had this thing that she wanted it, but outside she had to do a lot more things, to pretend that whatever. So I liked that gave so much more for me to do. I enjoy it.
Yeah. Shweta has a question. How difficult for you was to do Prana film? Because you had to take shots in all three languages at the same time.
I don't know why everyone is asking why everything is difficult. Nothing is so difficult. Acting is, it's a fun thing. It's a nice thing. It makes me happy to do certain
Mm.
things. It's not, I've really never found anything difficult. But because you take shots in, yeah, but languages, it's a little annoying for sure,
Mm.
because when you're acting, you finish a shot and you've got closure. You're like, yes, okay, that
Right.
shot was nice. Let's move on. But then they're like, madam, no, sorry, we have to do one more language. We have to do, so then you'll be like, what? Oh my God, I'm done with this, but then I have to redo it again. Okay, fine, give me the, other dialogue and learn that new language and do it. But I think I'm so used to it now because I've been doing it, like right now I'm dubbing for Breathe and I'm
Okay.
dubbing three languages. So,
Oh,
the minute I finished, so I just finished Telugu. And I was
okay.
like, oh, Telugu's done. And I was like, yay! And they're like, they didn't even give me a second. They were like, madam, Tamil stop Manana. I'm like, can you give me 2 seconds to rejoice that it's over, But like immediately I have to start a new language. So I was like, okay, fine, Tamil start Manana. So I started. So I'm so used to it now.
Great. Question on Mangalyaan. Did you do any research for the portrayal of satellite engineer, or was there any meeting with the real scientists?
Not for me. I think Vidya met somebody, but we were given a docket to read, and we did go through the basic working of how the Mars mission went through. It was a very sort of creative, unique things they put into it and all that. So just a basic idea of uh, how that mission happened. So we read a little bit of material, but it was not so necessary to go very deep into it.
Okay. But it's when I was watching the film, and So there are two things. One is ISRO, one is a Bangalore girl playing a Bangalore organization which sent something.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, so was we saw a couple of pictures in the end, but was any sorry, was any person actually related in the sense they actually played the same character and they emoted, or was it more fiction into the character?
No, I don't think there were specific people that we were playing.
Hmm.
It was the characters were fictional.
Okay. A lot of requests on could Nithya sing a Kannada song for us. I'm like, I don't think I'm going there. But it's that's another thing which where you have been singing so many songs in your films now. And was there any? But I read you were not trained in any way. Can you
Yeah.
give it some light? How did this come upon, or you just like acting, you enjoy singing also?
Yeah, I mean, since I was young, I actually used to sing. Acting was, of course, not in the picture, but singing is something I've always done. So in school and everything, and I used to sing. Since I was very young, I used to sing. So singing has always been there, but I'm not trained, so I can't sing like a professional singer. But
Mm.
uh, but yeah, if I did train, I think I could have sang much better. But yeah, it's just something that comes.
Okay,
It is something I want to pursue though, singing.
very nice. One of the question is how do you adjust to working cultures in different industries and Bollywood and Malayalam, Telugu?
Um, like I said, I think part of the job makes you very adaptive, and I am by nature a very adaptive person. So wherever you put me, I won't resist it. I'll more adapt myself. So
Okay.
these are all things that are, like I said, when I said acting is not just something that you learn and you just do, it is more from your personality. These are all the things that you sort of have to have these qualities so that you make your life easier. Working in films means that you can't be too rigid. You have to be able to sort of be a little fluid. So for me, another thing is um I don't see a different culture as an alien thing. I see it as an excitement. And I see it as something that I'm so happy to learn. So when I went first to Hyderabad, I was exhilarated because
Mm,
this is something I've never seen. So I'm seeing a new culture, I'm seeing a new place. So I
right.
I observed everything, how people are talking, what they're. So for me, I'm like a child that like that. I have this childlike um, thing for learning and stuff. So that makes me more excited. It doesn't make me feel like I'm out of place. I actually feel
Okay.
really excited in new places.
Okay. No, it's a like somebody wants to comment on your breathe and Mercil. You've done a great job. That's one of the other questions I wanted to ask on the character you played in Mercil, and the way you brought in the energy, especially when the fire happens, and you're playing a little older character compared to whatever you had played. So, and you also commented in an interview saying that now you are getting characters where you have kids, and it was very
Yeah,
funny to hear that. So,
yeah,
how do you do that when people come and say, okay, let's now you have this role,
yeah,
please?
yeah. People, I mean, that's always the case.
Okay.
If you do one film a certain way, the next 10 films that will come to you will be exactly the same genre. So they will
Yeah.
completely typecast you into that thing. I don't know why people work like that. They're so boxed in their thing, but they're unable to go out of the box and sort of, be able to do different things. I think that's why actors are so afraid,
Mm,
for to do anything, because the minute you do it, then you're done. You're like getting typecasted. So I just refuse to do it after that. So that means you say no to a lot of films and all of that. But still, that's necessary because you can't get typecast into one same type of thing. That's one thing I've
right.
noticed. I don't know why people are so keen to typecast everyone.
No, we're very interested because see, that is something which, sorry, this is my observation, where Malayalam films kind of give you that for a wonderful reason. Their stories and the way they
Yeah,
portray characters, they have
yeah,
a different
absolutely.
range, and
Yeah,
I think that is why you start to enjoy those films because you're not stuck to a same kind of genre. You're not same.
correct.
It brings a new idea.
Absolutely right.
I mean, actually, today's Fahad's birthday, so happy birthday to him. The character he is now playing, yeah, and he plays a thief in one. He plays
Yeah,
a photographer
correct.
in another.
That is absolutely amazing because I can't think of another mainstream actor
Yeah,
who will actually play the kind of roles that he does. We need more people like him. We need more people and actors like him who are truly just actors
truly,
rather
yeah.
than wanting to stick to some image.
Does that, sorry to ask you this question, I'm being a little sexist here. Do men get better roles because, you know, and women lose out on that?
No, because I don't see that they are getting better roles at all. They're also
Okay,
doing equally boring things only. Uh, it depends on what you choose. See,
okay,
only someone like Fahad is doing something which you maybe are talking about because he's choosing to do that.
correct.
Everyone's not choosing to do that,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah. Mm,
So it depends on what you choose. If you are very choosy, of course, you won't churn out films like a manufacturing unit. It'll be slower, but you'll
mm,
certainly do a variety of things. So I think it's a very general thing, that most protagonists are male.
mm.
That's, I don't know, that's not something that I find fault with. It's just an observation that, it is like that. That is how it always is. It's changing a little bit now, but
Yes,
it's okay as long it doesn't matter. I don't believe in this whole women are not getting and all that. Like as long as the story is good, whether it's a man or a woman or whoever it is who's doing it there, I think is great. I would love to watch any film with any protagonist. Doesn't have to be a woman or whatever.
one of you did a short film, I think, last year, which is running, and there are a lot of short filmmakers who are having so many scripts with them and would love
Yeah.
to get in touch and see if would like to reach about. So this is a question we ask all our guests. If someone wants to reach out to Nithya and say, Nithya, have a great film, a great idea, how do I come to you? Is there a way somebody can reach out to you?
Uh, there is, but the problem is it's not something I can put out very publicly because then we
Absolutely
get too many unwanted things, and that person, so we're unable to focus the attention on the real, actual, genuine people if I
correct,
make it too public. Which is
correct.
why I think twice about putting it up on a social media or something because then they just get bombarded with unnecessary things.
I agree.
uh, so that's the thing. So uh, rest assured, I am very open. I'm
Okay,
absolutely open to doing anything. Like I don't think short films are something that I won't do. It's just nobody's asked me to do until now. But
okay.
I recently we shot in Bangalore itself. VKP, who's the director of
Yeah,
Prana, is also from Bangalore. He
yeah,
has
yeah.
a trends here.
Hmm.
So VKP shot it, and I acted in it. It was just one actor, and we just did it between ourselves. A very small crew. We produced it ourselves. So we
Hmm.
did our own short film as well.
Okay.
I don't see the like short film as a different thing. It's the same thing. It's filmmaking only. It's a different kind of a setup.
Hmm.
So I'm absolutely open to it. If it's something really, nice, why not? I would love to.
That's so nice of you because as a festival and a short film festival in specific, we are trying to bring out a platform where we are asking filmmakers to pitch. It's a video pitch they have to do under 3 minutes, and they pitch an idea. And
Mhm.
we have a small group which is churning out. Okay, which are the best scripts to do? Probably next
Oh,
year we
that
will.
is fantastic.
Yeah. So
You know,
we
I had discussed these kind of things with a friend of mine, saying
yeah,
how do we sort of put it together? How do we find the right people to come to you? Because sometimes you realize the right people are not able to get in touch with you,
exactly.
and you're not able to. So, I was actually talking about this. So, this is a great thing if you can actually put the
Yes,
ideas together and,
absolutely. So
then
that is
you
what
can
we're doing.
connect talent with the filmmakers. That will be
Yes.
so much, yeah,
Yeah. So
it's nice.
probably this year it's too late, but we are going to start this process, and maybe when we feel there is a good chunk, which we can send it to you, so you can look at the ideas, and if you feel
Hmm.
that something is good and you want to get connected, we would be love to
Yeah,
connect, and that would be great for both you and the filmmaker because we want
great.
talents to grow.
Yeah,
Yeah. So I
absolutely.
think
Sounds good. I'm
that's great.
excited.
Thanks. This makes our day as a festival, and our festival is happening next week. And actually, we would have completed halfway through, and it's completely online and free. We'll share the link with you, and if you can also put it out in your social media, because we have an
Sure.
amazing collection this year. Many have won multiple awards across different festivals. Uh, the last question I would go on with is, what do you think about festivals as a medium? Is it one is commercially made, but there are VKP has done a couple of movies which did very well, in the parallel cinema stream. But as an actor, do you look forward for? Let me go back a little. I heard an interview where you said, "I wish Satyajit I was born in Satyajit Ray's time where I would love to play roles like that." But I'm sure today also there are many filmmakers who are doing stuff like that. What is your thought on that? Would you like to do a festival film which will go around?
Absolutely. In fact, I think I'm more of that kind of an actor. I
Okay.
always feel like I should have been a theater actor. I would have been very happy doing theater because it's very my kind of space. It wouldn't have been too much attention. I don't like too much attention and all that. Not many people would have known me. I would have been able to be normal and walk around and still act and all that. So absolutely, that I like that kind of cinema. Festival cinema is my kind of film. In fact, I'm not as I'm more I more inclined towards that than commercial mainstream cinema. So I would love to. Yeah.
That's great, and I think it's almost an hour since we started talking, so it's great. It was lovely talking to you, and it was
Thank you
very
so
nice
much.
that you gave us time. And actually, this time we are completely online. Otherwise, we do festival in about 8 venues, and
Yeah.
ತುಂಬಾ ಖುಷಿ ಆಗಿರೋದು ನೀವು ಬಂದಿದ್ರೆ ನಮ್ಮ
ಹೌದು.
ಸಿನಿಮಾಗಳು. It's all under
ಹೌದು.
30 minutes, and it's all short and very tight. I'll send you the links. It'd be great to get your feedback on that. And if you'd like to get
Sure.
connected with someone, we'd love to do that. So, Nithya,
Sure.
thank you very much for joining us today, and
Thank
lovely to
you
have
so much.
you. Yeah.
Thank you. It
You
was
take
my
care.
pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Take care and be
Thanks.
safe. Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks.